and it just literally shook the middle of my house.
Severe thunderstorms rock western Washington.
And I was like, oh man, I haven't felt like the strength of the thunder like that in a long time.
The light show over Puget Sound and where those storms are headed now.
No mother should have to bury their child.
A mother calls for justice.
This could have been prevented.
After deputies say a man was killed by his neighbor in Pierce County.
We believe that he was targeted for everything that he's been doing.
And a family claims a Skagit County activist was pulled from his car and detained by ICE agents. Tonight, they're concerned that the arrest was targeted. We begin tonight with that light show over western Washington as severe weather moved through. Check out this incredible shot over Seattle. A triple strike. Thanks to Paul for sending this one in. Lightning also flashing over Everett here. We captured this on our tower camera overlooking the city tonight, and that's where lightning reportedly struck a house, started a fire on a rooftop. Crews say they put it out before it spread to any other parts of the house. This is along Cromer Avenue. Good news there, nobody hurt. The storm is now on its way north. This is its latest track heading up toward the Canadian border tonight. The good news is we seem to have gotten out relatively unscathed. Still keeping an eye on a few things here. The quick check of power outages now. Puget Sound Energy is reporting about 700 customers without power. Seattle City Light about 220. Tacoma Power Utility about 30 right now. SeaTac Airport was also under a temporary ground stop as the storms moved in. About 230 flights have been delayed. One was canceled. Let's get to our team coverage for you. Jim Nelson is tracking conditions where the storms first hit in the South Sound, but we're going to begin with Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett with where the system is right now.
Well, Greg, as you mentioned, it's been moving very steadily from south to north through the entire night tonight, and I was hoping to be able to tell you that everything's calmed down and it's completely quiet, but that is not the case. I'm tracking some new lightning that is firing up over top of the Cascades. We'll track that in a moment, but we'll start with a live look over top of the Seattle Metro, where it has been raining fairly steadily tonight, very heavily at one point. Something fascinating happened as the frontal boundary moved through. Temperatures were sitting in the mid-50s around 6 p.m., bounced up close to 60 as that warm air was shoved from south to north and then has settled back down into the low 50s once again. Winds light and variable. That is a very different story from the one that we were telling earlier when it was quite gusty out there. Live look from, well, this is actually a 2-hour loop up towards Whatcom County where we saw the last of that lightning making its way through Bellingham and then eventually up towards Blaine. We saw activity literally all the way up and down the I-5 corridor tonight. Pulling out our focus, though, we are tracking some new lightning that's making its way from White Pass towards the Cascades of King County. We'll track that together and some cooler and more stable conditions coming up.
We'd like to hear that. All right, Mike, our team coverage continues now with King 5's Jim Nelson. He's tracking things from the South Sound. Much quieter scene there right now, Jim.
Yeah, Greg, definitely calmer. Even the rain over the last hour has really started to slow down. We kind of followed the beginning of this storm. We were down in Olympia, then Puyallup, South Hill. Now we're in Auburn, where Puget Sound Energy has been working on a handful of power outages. But at the end of the day, really get the sense that a lot of people are feeling relieved. The heavy rain moved in swiftly. They held their breath in the South Sound.
Just hope for the best for the car. I hope the hail doesn't do anything. I hope everybody is okay.
Joseph Meritor might as well be all of us, hoping the severe threat would blow by without major damage. Thankfully, hail did not become the big story, but that lightning sure put on a show.
Honestly, I haven't seen this probably ever. I'm from Forks, and you know, this is really rare over here. So I mean, it's a beauty to see, but it kind of makes you nervous at times too.
Especially when you can feel it.
It literally shook the middle of my house, and I was like, oh man, I haven't felt like the strength of the thunder like that in a long time.
Aside from a few gusts of wind, the issue here has mostly been the rain. And fortunately, that has not led to widespread power outages, but they're out there. In Auburn's Lee Hill neighborhood, the flashlights were out. Puget Sound Energy has been working to get a small outage restored here. But all in all, a big sigh of relief. A good night to just take it easy.
Get some food, head home. Yeah, probably watch a movie and just try to relax. And
So as for that power outage here in Auburn, down the road from where we are right now, Puget Sound Energy says they expect the power to be restored by 3 a.m. And even at this point, it's only down to a little more than a dozen people. So really not creating huge problems at this time of night. Live in Auburn, Jim Nelson, King 5 News.
Much better than it could have been. Jim, thank you. Our First Alert weather team is tracking the last of these storms as they move north. Remember, you can stream the latest forecast anytime on King 5 Plus. Download it to your TV and you can watch it for free.